Welcome to the show.
Jim, thanks for having me.
And John-Paul Mayhew.
Yes, thank
Nice
you.
to have you on the show as well. These guys are from Assisted Living Technologies. Mario is business developer and project manager there. Also, welcome back to Central Connecticut State University, Mario. You're a graduate. When are you a graduate? When did you
I graduated in 2012.
Oh, you're young.
Yep.
My goodness. You just graduated. Huh? So it's
did.
like 2 years later, huh?
I know.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And John Paul is technology specialist with some of the product that we're going to be talking about tonight. You're responsible for the repair of all this stuff, right?
Yeah, for the repair and also the installation of the equipment, and also setting up the appointments with the family members to go out and instruct them on the products and how to use them
Good.
too.
So Mario, listen, you were going to be here with your father originally. You are. Your father couldn't be, who's the president of the company, because he got called away on emergency business with the state of Connecticut, of all people. Right, Mario? So you're here to tell us a little bit about Assisted Living Technologies.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the scope of the company.
Well, the company really is designed around the customer primarily. What we do is we kind of bring in a bunch of different technologies to help seniors and special needs individuals all throughout the state of Connecticut and actually all around the United States. People can buy things from our website as well.
Okay. So, and how many locations do you have?
Well, we have one location. Our main location is in Meriden, which is a showroom and our corporate headquarters.
Okay,
And
that's
we're
Assisted
looking-
Living Technologies. You got a showroom
right.
on Broad Street, I think it is?
Yep.
But there's a mother company, isn't there?
Right. The main company is Assisted Living Services, which is a home health aid company. We've been in business for 18 years, and about 4 years ago, we decided to start Assisted Living Technologies to broaden our scope.
Okay, so 18 years ago, your mom and dad started the company, right?
Exactly.
I mean, they have extensive backgrounds in this area, and 4
Yes.
years ago, you started with Assisted Living Technologies.
That's right.
Okay, so the primary objective of the company is to allow people to do what, Mario?
The primary objective of our company is to really allow seniors and special needs individuals to live home longer, independently, and have access to emergency help when they need it, take their medications when they need it, and also prevent things like falls, loneliness, and common health problems that people might have just living alone.
Well, I think the other thing is it interested me. Well, I have really two interests in your company, Mario. One is a very personal one, and in terms of what happened with my mother, and the other one is that there are two parties to someone living independently. There's the party themselves that's living independently, and then there's the caregivers of the person who's living independently. Right. And a lot of times it's not possible for you as a caregiver to be there. And some of the products that we're going to be talking about, John Paul, actually facilitate the caregiver knowing what's going on in the person's home, right?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So, things like our personal emergency response systems, with the push of the button, people can get access to emergency help and also notify loved ones that might be living miles away.
Okay, well, we're going to get into the products in a little while.
Sure.
I have to tell you, at the very personal level, I lost my mom this year, and I was with her for the last 7 weeks of her life. She died in my arms. The woman was going to be 102 years old. She was healthy for 101 and a half years, guys, right? She's like bionic woman. But I mean, you know what? You get tired at that age, right? So what happened is that I had to bring in various caregivers.
Right.
Home health care agency, like the other half of your company, paid private help, hospice toward the end, and other people that I brought in to help me with my mother. And she didn't die, Mario, of any major disease. She was going to be 102. Right. But I learned so much about what it takes to take care of a person who wants to live independently, and most people who are seniors want to live independently in their home for two reasons. One reason is their frame of mind keeps them in a better frame of mind. Right. They can maintain better health. And really from the governmental point of view, right? Tell us about how much the state of Connecticut loves what you do and why.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because we save people money by putting in these technologies. Technologies like emergency response systems, like medication management systems, keep people safe. They keep them taking their meds on time. Whereas, having a nurse come in every day to give somebody their medication, that can get expensive for
Very
the state,
expensive.
for caregivers that need to, family members like yourself that need to pay to have mom or dad stay home. That's where they want to stay. So by having access to emergency help when they need it, right, and by having access to their medication when they need it, to be reminded to take it, other than having a caregiver come in and actually give it to them,
There
you're
is a
saving money.
major federal program called Money Follows the Person.
Yes.
And it's flowing all the way down to the state level. And for the audience's benefit, I mean, the numbers are, if you're to believe the federal government, and who does, Mario? But I mean, if you're to believe the federal government, they can reduce their medical health care costs for older people 40%. That, you're talking billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? So let's say that they're half right. And instead of 40%, you can reduce Medicaid and Medicare costs 20%. That's money that's just extraordinary, right?
Lots.
So the more that they can, and I don't say this in a pejorative sense, the more that people can stay out of nursing homes, the more they can stay out of care that requires constant caregivers being there, that's all money to be saved. Right. With the proviso that, and you guys are representing it, that they will be as safe, right, and as well attended to that if they were somewhere else.
Right.
Okay?
And we really advertise that technology is there to supplement care. So, for example, if you need a caregiver, it's always better to have a caregiver and some technologies too, maybe for nighttime, maybe for when the caregiver goes to the store to get you, milk and eggs for the day. It's a great thing to supplement, and we're not trying to replace care, but we're really trying to augment and offset some of those hours where technology can do the job.
Right, and I think that's
instead.
an important point to make, that you guys are not talking about replacing the nursing home, because the definition of a nursing home is 24/7 care by skilled clinical professionals. That's not this, but there's a lot left over on the other side, right? And the other thing is, I think it would be interesting before we go into the products quickly, is to let people know, for example, that in the state of Connecticut, close to 1/3 of our population in a very short period of time, like the next 10 to 20 years, is going to be over 65. Yes. That's an incredibly, now it's going to be a younger 65, and that demographic is also true at the national level. 20 to 25% of the population of the United States of America, which is going to be 60 to 75 million people, are going to be in the category we're talking about. So that's good for you in terms of business, but it's also good for the product line. Yes. So having said that, let's make sure we get in what we have to get in. Tell us about the first product you'd like to discuss. Sure. Now this is for the independent liver, right, who's at home.
I mean, this product we have right now is our Lifeline. It's what is simply a base unit where if a client is at home and they need medical assistance, they can simply push this button right here. A dispatcher will come over and say, do you need medical assistance? You can say, yes, I need the ambulance. I'm not feeling well. They will then dispatch to your location. This is mostly used for your home use. They also will contact the caregiver or a family member saying that the mom or dad has pushed their button and help has been dispatched to their location. If you don't also...
Okay, excuse me, John-Paul, that's important.
That is important,
to me as a caregiver, if I wasn't there with my mother and she had a device like this to use, right? Yes. That means that if she's in trouble, I get notified.
And you would get, yes, you would get notified.
Now, now my place is in Florida, so if I was in, I'm in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
So it knows no bounds, does it?
No bounds. I mean, because you register information with the back-end users, and you put whoever the caregiver is. So if they're in Connecticut, if they're in California, they will call you and say that
notification.
They will notify you of that.
Okay, proceed.
It also, with this, we have two versions. This is our landline version. We also have a cell version for those parties that don't have a landline phone in their home. We have a cell unit that can plug into the regular outlet and works the same way.
And a lot of people don't. They're getting rid of their landlines, right? They have, because of the cell phone technology. Okay.
Everybody's going with cell phones nowadays.
Okay. So is that it for this particular device?
Yeah, I mean, like it does have a battery backup, so if you did lose power, it does have an 80-hour backup in here.
80 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking
Have access to
3.5 days.
Exactly.
And this unit is waterproof, so we do recommend any loved one wearing this always wear it in the shower, because most falls happen within the shower.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good to know
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Next, what else you got?
The next one we have is our e-responder. This unit here is for all individuals who are on the go. We know mom and dad or grandma, grandparent are always out visiting the grandkids at games or something. With this unit here, they can get emergency services anywhere they may be, whether in Connecticut or if they're in Florida or in California. What they simply do is push this button right here. A dispatch will come over and say, do you need medical assistance? You give the information that you need the ambulance. So if you're in California and you don't know your address, they are able to locate your address and send medical services your way. This runs on cell service, so it grabs a hold of whatever cell service is in the area. It's a simple little unit here. It has a microphone and the speaker in here. So what's nice about it, even though you don't need medical assistance, you can simply have them contact a loved one saying, your mom pushed her button, she needs help, can you go to this location?
Well, I think, let me make another comment too, John-Paul, and that is, with my mother and knowing all of her friends, right, to the extent the technology can keep it simple
Yes.
and small,
Yes.
they're okay with that.
Yes.
The minute it's larger or there's too much technology, the human engineering is complicated,
Yeah.
they won't go near it. So that's small
Yeah.
and it's easy to use.
And it's
okay?
easy to use, and a lot of clientele we have right now are children of parents buying this for their loved ones.
Right.
I have a lady who bought one for her mother. Her mother's in Florida, so she wants to make sure her mother's safe down there.
Right.
So simply buying this, and it works well for her
Okay,
down there.
next?
Okay, the next, we'll do the,
Go over MedMinder.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we have here, I'll go over this one. This is actually called MedMinder. So this is meant to remind the senior to take their medication on time, the right dose, and it keeps all of the loved ones, nurse, caregivers involved in the medication compliance. So, for instance, if it's Sunday morning, when it's time to take the correct med, just a proper compartment begins to blink. Then, simply all you need to do, I'm just going to open this one because all the rest are locked actually. They just take the medication out, take it, and everything's good. If they don't take their medication, it's going to start beeping and you're going to hear it wherever you are in the house. And then if they still don't take it, it's going to place a cell phone call to either a nurse, caregiver, family member,
Let me
letting
tell
them know.
you, this is extraordinary. I mean, for the audiences, I mean, having gone through this, taking prescription medicine is a major,
Right.
major deal with an older person. Remembering it, taking it, what day of the week, et cetera, et cetera. And this is looking like you got a whole month here, Mario, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this one actually is designed for either 1 or 2 weeks. So you can take, if you take 4 medications a day, here's your morning, here's your noon, here's your
okay.
dinner time, and here's your bedtime med. But if
Okay.
you only take 2 meds during the day, morning and night, you can fill it up for 2 weeks. 1, 2, right
Okay,
there.
so it reminds them.
Exactly.
And if for some reason they don't pay attention, it reminds them again.
It reminds them again.
Well, and does it keep on reminding them until they open it?
Oh yeah, it keeps going until they take their medication. And if they don't, let's say they leave the house or something, their loved one's going to get a phone call. Hey, mom missed her medication at 12 noon today. So you can call and
You can
say,
call 'em
hey,
up.
mom, what's
Yep.
going on with your meds?
This is,
yeah.
you know what, I can't tell you, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this device one of the 8s or 9s for what's important to a senior. This is
Definitely.
really, okay, next.
Definitely. And next we have, this system is, a variety of technology called remote monitoring. This
We got
particular
about 3
one.
minutes left.
Okay.
Go
This
ahead.
particular one is made by Be Close, and really what this is behavioral monitoring. It lets you know things like, is mom getting up out of bed at night a lot? Is mom, why is the front door left open at 1 a.m.? Is mom moving around a lot in the home? Things like that can be, alerts can be sent to a loved
And
one.
how's it doing it? What, the technology, was it sensor-based?
Yeah, it's actually all sensor-based technology. It's all wireless. There's no wires attached to any of this. It's all just
That's
put
another
on the
thing that's
walls,
good.
under the bed,
And it's
on the
picking up
door.
everything that the person does.
Exactly. And it's monitoring their behavior. 100% without having cameras, though.
Okay, so that means if it's monitoring their behavior, Mario, it has to know what their behavior is.
Exactly.
So you've told it what the behavior.
Actually, no. When we program it in the beginning, the first 2 weeks, the system learns that person's behavior, and anything that goes outside that kind of normal behavior of that baseline that it sets,
So you
the
set the
family's going to
parameters?
get an alert.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is outstanding. That really is. Okay, what else? What is this?
Well, that's actually a bed pad. Actually, this one's a chair pad. There's a larger one that's a bed pad that can be put under the sheet. And if mom or dad gets out of bed at night and they don't come back for an extended period of time, they're,
So
the
there's a chip
family's
in there.
getting.
You got a chip in there.
Exactly. There's actually a cell module, cell chip right in here that relays the message to the Be Close system and right to your cell phone.
So if
they
I
don't
know
come
that
back.
my mother watches TV in a chair between 7 at night and 10 o'clock at night every night, and for
Exactly.
whatever reason, and it's the same thing in bed. If I know she sleeps 10 hours a night,
Right.
and for whatever reason she gets up and she doesn't come back, I'm going to know.
You're going to know either via text message, email, or phone call.
And what happens in the residence itself? Does something go off?
No, it's actually a silent, that's why it's called remote monitoring. It's very silent, it's inobtrusive. You're just going to know about it at your location, and there's no alarms, nothing crazy like that. But let's say she does fall or something does happen, there is an emergency response system built right into this, so she can hit this pendant that she can wear around her neck
Okay.
as well and have access to emergency help, just like our My Help
Okay.
emergency response system over
We've
there.
got we did it.
Yeah.
We
Did
did
it.
it. We got
Yeah,
about
we
we got
covered it.
about 30 seconds left. We're going to have
Sure.
you back again sometime in 2015.
Sure.
This is a great thing for people to see. So I really do appreciate you guys coming by, and I wish you the best. And demographically speaking, given the aging of the population, this is going to get better and better, Jean-Paul, technologically
it is,
speaking.
yes.
And application speaking as well.
Yes.
So you're going to have a lot of work to do business development-wise, Mario, right? So it's a pleasure, Jean-Paul, having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Mario,
Thanks for
it's a
having
pleasure
us.
having you on the
Thank you.
show. And we'll be back with our next show.